Hey team, welcome to the Baby Playbook Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me for another week. We've had some amazing episodes play out over the last couple of weeks with some great guests. I love having a guest on the episode. But today's episode, it's just me. I hope that is okay. It's just going to be me chatting through some tips and tricks on another topic that kind of comes up during the first 6 months of a baby's life that we don't really pay attention to too much. I mean, we do when it comes to buying things for this topic, toys, play mats, little things for the pram, things to hang on in the car. What I'm talking about is the topic of playtime. But what we really don't realize is kind of what play looks like in the first 6 months with your baby, because it can really be something that you kind of like overthink, how much play you have to do with your baby. Am I doing it right? What sort of play is age appropriate? There's so many questions that you have when it comes to play with your baby. And I think the other thing that I didn't realize when having babies was, especially during those first 6 months when you can feel like every day is quite a drag, like it's just so long, it's so exhausting, it's so repetitive, you go eat, sleep, play, repeat, whatever it may be, that play is actually a really good opportunity for a bit of a break. It's actually a really nice thing that if you have a lot of ideas on what to do age appropriately, then it actually gets the day to go quite quickly. It gets us in a better mood during the day. So it's nice to equip yourself with some information on, I guess, like what's age appropriate during this time and how you can get into it with your baby. So playtime, it can be really, really fun, but it can also be quite exhausting. Most babies, they tend to only want to play with something for a few minutes before they get bored or frustrated and want to move on to the next thing. That's really common. And as annoying as that can be, keeping your baby quite active throughout play during their awake time will actually lead to them probably sleeping better, being in a better mood, giving yourself the chance to be in a better mood as well, and getting them used to as well kind of relying on play to self-entertain as well. So it can actually be crucial in kind of like the months that follow and then starting to grow up and be able to play with themselves and not always have to have somebody around as well. You really need to help your baby exert energy so that they're tired enough to sleep well when you put them down. And a big part of this, especially during the first months, because it's not like we can really do anything else with our baby, is playing with them in age-appropriate forms. So today's episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a list of do's and don'ts when it comes to playtime. And this is just things that really worked for me, tips that I've gathered through experts in my work and who I've spoken to. And I've just put this all together to really help you and make it really clear in terms of what you should be doing with baby and what you shouldn't be wasting your time doing with baby. So I know this sounds really, really simple, but changing up your baby's scenery is just a game changer. It's play in itself. So when your baby's between kind of 0 to 3 months of age, playtime can literally just be staring at something for them. So whether you lay them down on a play mat with those toys dangling from above, putting them in a bouncer, getting them to watch you do the dishes, lay them next to you, obviously safely and always watching them, go outside and lay with them on a picnic blanket under a tree. They're so stimulated by simple things around them. Super simple thing. So don't overcomplicate it. As I said, just going outside for a bit of a walk. I really remember when Leo was born and I was living at my mother-in-law's at the time, and they had this beautiful backyard and it has a big orange tree and they have a garden and they have a pool area. And I would just kind of do laps of the backyard. That's how simple it was. But Leo was so captivated, so excited by the things that were around him. It really didn't take much to entertain him. So change up their scenery. This is a really great way to switch things up in the day, and it also gets you outside or in a different room or in a different area. And I know as these days can be really exhausting for mums, it's nice to give yourself a bit of a change of scenery as well. Spending time outside with your baby. This kind of goes off of what I just said. There's so much for them to look at outside, so much to play with. The fresh air is really great for babies. So even, for example, going on a walk, we know is really, really good for them to get them used to kind of being outside, getting used to the sun, that sort of things. It also really helps them sleep better. So once they're outside in that fresh air. It's nice for them to get that burst of fresh air and then get back inside and have a really great sleep. I used to just set up a picnic rug in the common area of my apartment block, I remember as well, and I'd spend 20 to 30 minutes just playing with my baby. You can bring down some, toys with you as well if you set up a picnic somewhere, but it's just really nice for them to get a change of scenery and some fresh air. Focusing on tummy time. This is also a great do when it comes to playtime for babies. So it's important for your baby's development as well. It's a really great form of playtime, tummy time. It, of course, with tummy time, as medical experts will tell you, it does help with, their posture, their strength, their net strength. Ensure you investigate the age guidelines of how long you should do it each day based on your baby's age. This is really important because it's really important not to overdo it with tummy time if your baby is too young. So it really helps also with letting out extra burps during the day. I've spoken about this in my Milk 101 episode earlier, a few weeks ago, where I spoke about the fact that you pop them down on your tummy and they stretch out their neck. Could actually get out a really good burp or two that is stuck in the stomach. So that's also another big benefit for tummy time. And for tummy time, all you really need is like a soft blanket down for them to kind of lay on, and just a couple of things in front of them. Again, babies don't need much. Don't overdo it with all the crazy toys that you can buy out there and the gadgets. Keep it really simple. And I'll go through the don'ts in just a moment. Another way that you can play with your baby is really just talking to them. They get quite captivated, especially maybe not in the first couple of months. They're kind of a little bit lackluster when it comes to reactions, but they get really captivated by the way you talk to them eventually. So talk them through different colors, the numbers, the toys they're playing with, what are they looking at, what you're making for lunch. Just talk to them and interact with them. That's really entertainment for them, and it really surely contributes to their education as well. Being able to just chat to them. It also, I know this is going to sound really sad, but when you're at home just with your baby all day, sometimes you can go a whole day without a word. So it's actually just nice to start talking and chatting and, really just lift up the spirit at home. Try to keep the mess of toys under some sort of slight control. So I know this is really hard. When you have a baby, all of a sudden it feels like there's so many baby items in the house. There's so many toys lying around in every single room, but trying to keep some sort of a hold on keeping them all together and organized really helps with resetting yourself every day. You do not want to wake up, especially after a sleep-deprived night, and walk into a mess of a living room with toys everywhere. The other thing about making sure that your toys are put away, it also gives your baby, when they get older, the chance to actually explore toys and figure out what they want to play with. I think sometimes when we have toys all out all the time, they kind of get a little bit sick of them. They're like, oh yeah, that's still on the floor. I don't really want to play with that again. Switch it up for them a bit. So my advice here is have a big laundry style basket in your living room that you can just chuck all the baby toys in once they're done playing. So this is really great for if you're living in something a little bit smaller, like an apartment. When we lived in an apartment with Noah, I just had a couple of those baskets around in the living room. You can get like the fancier ones if you really want to, give your home a bit more of an adult aesthetic. But then at the end of the night, also making sure that you reset things. Doing it each night really helps you just get a little bit of clarity and cleanliness to the house, and then kick off the day again as everything has been reset. Now, the last don't that I want to give you is purchase a durable and wipeable play mat. So this kind of comes back to playtime / tummy time. There will be such a mess when it comes to your play mat. It could have food stains on it, milk stains, vomit stains, dribble stains. It can just get really messy. So make sure you think about getting a durable and a wipeable one. You being able to just wipe that clean every night, it's much easier than constantly having to wash one of those soft mats as well. So make sure it's nice and padded and comfortable, but just really easy to maintain. Now let's go through the don'ts when it comes to playtime and toys and all of that for kids. I kind of touched on this before. Don't buy a million expensive toys. Look, once your baby starts to grip things with their hands, don't go wild and go buy, all those useless things that you see on the shelves. Go through your household items and really pull out things that they can try and hold. So this is really early play style. Wooden spoon, plastic cup, spatula, a bag of pasta. Babies literally have no idea what the difference is between a toy and a random utensil. So what I'm trying to say is, save your money to buy toys that are age appropriate and really like high tech and stuff like that when they're a little bit older. When they're younger, you just want to keep it really simple for them between the ages of 0 and 6 months old. Make sure, of course, they are safe items and you're monitoring your baby while they play with them as well, but keep it super simple. Do not buy stuffed animals. And this is a note for people who are considering buying gifts as well. Stuffed animals are just kind of useless for babies under 6 months old. They're usually too big to pick up. They're too heavy. They don't do anything fun. They don't like move around. They might captivate them for a second looking at them. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but you end up getting all these stuffed toys as well, stuffed toys as presents as well. And they end up just lying around the whole entire house, and they're really hard to keep a hold of, really hard to keep clean. So just, I'm a don't buy a stuffed animal toy type of girl. Do not buy paper books for young kids. Okay, of course, books are really important to buy for kids, but age appropriate. So when it comes to 0 to 6 months old, your baby will just be trying to manhandle a book and grab pages and look at pictures, and they're rough with them. So really just buy those thick board books, or else you're getting rips and tears all over the place. Now, of course, a recommendation that I can give you is the My Mommy Loves Fudge book. And that's one of the big reasons that I had those thick pages made and made it a board book, is because we lost so many books to random rips and tears when Noah and Leah were little. Of course, we have them now because they're a little bit older and they can actually turn a page without ripping it. But when you're 0 to 6 months old, you cannot handle yourself. So board books are the way to go. Do not give your baby all their toys at once. Now, this is a proven theory, and it is very popular at the moment, that it's really important to rotate toys around every few days or weeks, so babies don't get bored of them and think that they have something new to discover, and think that they don't have something new to discover. So the general rule that you should go by is, having 4 or 5 toys for them at a time, and then rotating those every couple of weeks. It just means that, you don't have like 100 toys out all at the same time, and baby is really familiar with all of them and then gets really bored with them very quickly. If you have 4 or 5, then all of a sudden in 2 weeks, they've got a new 4 or 5 out. They think they're new, but they're just sitting in another room, and they're now and excited by them, and they can actually properly explore them and dedicate time to them. And then you take those away, and by the time they roll back into the rotation, they can explore them again or further their exploration with them. Another don't that I have is, don't play with your baby in the room that they sleep in. This is a really important tip and something that I still abide by. My kids' rooms, in terms of their bedrooms, are their bedrooms for sleep. We don't have any toys in there, because what you'll end up finding is, if you end up having a play area in their room, in their sleep room, well, why would a baby sit in their cot and sleep if they can see toys around them? Or if they've been in that room all day and they've been playing in the corner, but all of a sudden you're telling them that they can't play in that corner, they need to go to sleep. It's really confusing for them. So make sure that you don't confuse them in terms of what is sleep and playtime, and you separate the two. You have a toy area that's outside of their bedroom. Don't take your baby for a walk really, really close to sleep time. Now, I mentioned a change of scenery is a must when it comes to playtime with your baby, and what to do during that time of day, that awake time that's allocated to playtime. But if you end up going for that walk with your baby very, very close to sleep time, unfortunately, they'll end up falling asleep at, I guess, if you're following a routine, the wrong time. They'll doze off. There goes your whole routine that day. It's just a bit of a mess. So what I used to do in terms of the walk, I used to wake my baby up, give them a feed, and then immediately go out for my walk. So then they were nice and awake and full tummy, and then we'd come back home, and it'd be kind of that wind down routine then, where there was like that might be 10 to 30 minutes of, okay, we've got a little bit more playtime, let's do a bit of tummy time, and then it's time to sleep. Do not also let them play with their comforter. So of course, I've spoken about a comforter before. This is like it could be like a piece of cloth or a toy that is purposefully made to be a sleep aid for your baby. Of course, the red nose instructions are that these can only be introduced over the age of 7 to 8 months with babies to be safe sleeping practices. But what I would say with this is, if you introduce a comforter, it should always stay in the cot and always be associated to sleep times. This is similar to my rule about making sure that your baby knows that their room is to sleep in and doesn't have toys in it. Once you start giving your baby the comforter, during meal times or playtime, or if they just grab it out of the cot in the morning, that comforter is not anymore serving its purpose. It's now not a sleep association. It's just a general association. They just love it. And we all know, we've all seen a baby or a toddler or know of a toddler that ends up just carrying their comforter everywhere and anywhere, and it's super dirty and they won't let you wash it, and it just becomes a whole issue for everybody. So do not let them play with their comforter. That's not a toy technically. That is a sleep aid. They can play with their toys. Now, between the ages of 3 and 6 months, a baby does start to get a little bit harder to impress. So I want to share a little something that I did when Noah was born, where I started to kind of run out of simple ideas on what and how I could get through the awake times that I had with him. As I said, you follow quite a routine during the day with your baby, and there's a lot of time when you feel like you need to be entertaining them. And sometimes I just do the whole panic of like, oh, I've got to play with this toy again, or oh, I've got to set up tummy time again. So I ended up writing a list, and this list sat on my fridge, and it just used to glimpse over at it and quickly pick something to do to pass the time. Okay, so these are the things that I added to my list. So it had toy play, mirror play. Now, this is literally just baby looking in a mirror / crawling towards a mirror. They love mirrors. This is a whole thing. That could be like a good 10, 15, 20 minutes for you. Tummy time, rolling practice, which is important, outdoor picnic, outdoor walk, read a book, sing nursery rhymes, sensory play. So this is things like utensils, textured items, more. Balcony play. So this is on the lines of going outside, but just looking around, carrying them, naming all the things that we could see. Dance sesh. This was one of the favorites, especially with Noah. He loved music. So I'd play music on a speaker and we'd dance around and all that sort of stuff. Shower show. Now this sounds a little bit creepy, but it's actually really fun for them. Putting your baby in their bouncer with a few toys around them, bring them into the bathroom, and then you can have a shower, or you can do your skincare routine, or you can wash your face, whatever you need to do. But it was just like a bit of a shower show for them. That's what I called it. So you can add to this list anything else that you can think of that might be fun for your baby during that time. And as I said, pop it on the fridge, have it hanging, and then that way you're not overwhelmed in the moment. You can go, okay, we've already done toy time, we've done rolling practice, let's go for a walk. Or you go over to the list at like 3 p.m. and you go, okay, I've basically done this and that, let's do a dance sesh. It just gives you an immediate idea on what to do, on how you can pass the time, and it keeps things different for baby and for yourself as well, which is really, really handy. Look, I really hope that this helps you with figuring out playtime with your baby. It can be really overwhelming. Honestly, it sounds like it's so simple. And during your baby shower and when people come and visit, you get all these toys sent to you and you feel like, oh, I've got plenty of stuff to keep this baby entertained. But entertaining them becomes a bit of a pain and a bit of a drag when you start running out of ideas and you think, oh, they don't like this, they don't like that. So I hope those do's and don'ts help you, guide you in what you need to know when it comes to playtime with your baby. That's this week's episode. And to celebrate, because it is playtime and part of my chat was about books, I'm giving away a copy of my book, My Mummy Loves Fudge. Now, My Mummy Loves Fudge is a different kind of kids book. It is very cheeky. Fudge does not stand for fudge. It stands for another word that starts with an F that we tend to yell out when we're super frustrated during the day as a mum, but we can't say what we actually want to say. I hope that makes sense for you. It's really cheeky. It's fun to read for not just yourself, but also your baby. And it's that board book. It's hardcover, so baby's not going to rip it. If you want to enter this week's giveaway, I need you to head to heynicolinak.co, pop in your email, and that's it. Automatically, you are entered, and hopefully you are the winner that I pick this week. All right. Thanks for chatting, guys. Speak soon.